In the mix with DJ Rambo Rich.
So welcome to the What's That Music About podcast. I'm your host, DJ Rambo Rich. And in this episode, we're speaking to Brielle, a singer-songwriter, producer, and music consultant, all the way from America and the city of New Jersey. So first of all, I'd like to thank you for giving me your time and coming on the podcast. And if you could just introduce yourself, tell us a bit about yourself and the things you're up to in music, and we'll take it from there.
Sure. Thank you, Rich, for having me. I'm very excited to chat with you. My name's Brielle Brown. I am an artist, a songwriter. I'm also an intuitive artist development coach for independent artists in the music business, and a brand manager.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So just to break this down, because there might be some people that are not sure what they do. So you do music consultancy. So what does that consist of, basically?
So that's a big question. So, I'll try to give you the small answer, but there are two parts of what I do. And I think one is coaching and one is consulting. And sometimes they kind of intertwine, but I work with a lot of independent artists that are just starting out. So they either want to be in the music business, they don't know where to start, they have a bunch of songs, they don't know anybody in the business, or they just don't know how the business works. So the first thing that I do with artists like that is kind of like take them under my wing in a coaching situation. So it's a lot of teaching them about the music industry, doing a little A&R, which means, listening to their music, kind of doing, helping them write their music if they need song doctoring or songwriting, and just kind of like an overall approach to getting them to develop a foundation for their art and their business. And then on the other side, as a consultant, I'll come into teams like indie label teams, or I'll join up with an artist and we'll work daily on, okay, what is your vision for your brand? What is your vision for your music? And how are we going to present that strategically to the world?
I love that. I love that. I mean, obviously these days things are more and more online and social media, and one of the biggest things I have from all the artists and musicians I've interviewed is like they struggle with, I wouldn't say struggle is the right word, but like it's a daily challenge, shall we say, of like making the content, getting the content out there and doing it in a way that is authentic and really them. And this is why I started the podcast, is because I try not to edit too much, because I feel like my aim as a DJ is to help them be shown who they really are, because the music's great and everything, but sometimes I feel like people struggle to show who they authentically are. And I feel like if you know who the artist is, you're going to have that connection more, and when you listen to their songs, you're going to be more engaged because you feel like you know them as a person. So I love what you're doing there. I think it's definitely needed in the current state of music at the moment, like I say. So I love what you're doing there. I think what we're going to do now is move to the first round, which is mixtapes and memories. So 1 second, then we'll be back with that.
Okay.
Okay, so this is mixtapes and memories, and in mixtapes and memories, we talk about your first memories of music and how that started for you. So, to start this off, what is your first sort of memory of music? When do you remember you started like noticing music and think, do you know what, I want to find out what this is more about?
Oh, that's such a great question. I've never been asked that. So my house was a house of folk music. My mom listened to all the Laurel Canyon singer-songwriters. We always had music, Carole King, James Taylor, Joni Mitchell, Van Morrison. We always had those artists playing in our home. It was like we would light a candle or incense and listen to music. That was like how I grew up. It was so when I think of that music, I just think of home. And, I want to like, just kind of go back to my core of who I am. And, always that music always reminds me of myself in a way. So I think when I first knew that I wanted to do something with music is when I started singing, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, and I kind of everything just stopped, and like I just thought, okay, this is something that really feels like I could do this, you know. And yeah, I mean, it all stemmed from there. But for me, like my music history is really rooted in songs and like
Yeah.
real authentic songwriting. That's where it all stems from.
I mean, I love that. I mean, I think sometimes, like, I've seen some of the people like music people I've interviewed. I can see sometimes because you're so in your own music, you don't have the perspective of other people, and sometimes you can notice something that maybe the artist doesn't notice. And like, I was speaking to one artist, and she's got a song, and she always laughs when I say that is your best song. I'm like, this is your best song. She's asking me, why do you think it's your best song? And it's because the music, the lyrics, and the feeling, like the three things you want from a song, all connect, and it makes you feel something. And I think when you've got that, you've got to say to that artist, look, that is why I like it. And I love what you're saying there. I feel like it's very stemmed in like building a connection with the music and the lyrics, and then obviously emotion and trying to tell a story. So
Yes.
in your music, how big is storytelling, or are you more important? Are you focusing more on like the sound of it?
For me, it starts with, I guess, the meaning, the story, and it starts. You know, I am a person, an artist who really doesn't believe that I am the one really creating it. Like, I think that we're vessels. Like, we have this
Yeah.
connection to something out there, right? So for me, everything that I do is grounded in that greater meaning and purpose. So when the songs come, it's like it's a story is trying to be told, and you have to listen to that calling and you have to go with it. And it's like a very visceral thing. Like, music is so embodied and it's so physical and it's so visceral. And, you know, if I'm personally listening to music that is very much just about the sounds and the aesthetic and the production, that's great. Like, I'm not judging any of that, but I can't connect to that emotionally. Like, I want to know everything about the person that's singing that song. I want them to
Yeah.
bring their whole entire body to that song.
Definitely. I mean, I can relate there. Like I say, I mean, I found like you were saying, like when you were saying a vessel, what it was making me think of is all the things like I do from my podcast or my DJing or whatever it may be. It's like I always find I do my best work when it's not about me and it's about the
Yes.
other person, because I've not like that. I feel like like personally, my focus is better because I'm not. It's not about me. It's
Yeah.
about the other person, and I feel like you make more of a connection because you're focusing on the other person. So I love that. I love that. So
It's, yeah.
what was sorry to interrupt you there?
That's okay. It was just so
um,
good what you had to say. I needed to respond.
no, you can if you want. It's all
Oh
right.
yeah, no, I was gonna say, you know, that's one of my uh another thing that kind of grounds me in my business and the choices that I make in this business is the idea of being of service. And
Mm,
for me, it's like if I could be of service with my music, then I am working towards my purpose. If I could be of service to another artist who wants to express something but doesn't know how, then I'm working like in alignment with my purpose. So, and when, like you said, when it's not about you, when it's not like this narcissistic thing, like
yeah.
me, it just, I think it frees us, and
Yeah.
like it takes the pressure off, and it allows for these ideas and this creation to come through. So I 100% agree with that.
I love that. I love that. So what's your memories of like first performing?
Oh, so I started out as a theater kid. I am, you know, 100% like you could take the girl out of the theater, but you cannot take
Yeah.
the theater out of the girl. Like, I started performing at age 7. And I, you know, just threw myself into that, you know, performing world. That was my whole life growing up as a child and a teenager. And then I went to school and I got my BFA in theater. And along the way, I was writing poetry. I started first writing poetry, then soon I started putting that poetry to music.
Yeah.
So I was always like writing, always very into the words and the story. But for me, it started on stage. It started
Yeah.
singing in ensembles. And it's funny, like when you look back, all the dots kind of connect, because now I do a lot of background vocals for artists, and all of that work that I did, that choral work, the harmonies and
Yeah.
arranging things, like it all, I feel like um I don't say this very often about anything, because I always like have imposter syndrome about everything, but I could like walk into a space with the best background vocalists and get right in there and feel very comfortable. Like I know what I'm doing because of all that work that I did growing up as a child.
I mean, I think it's a great primer, like being in theatre and specifically musical theatre, for just being like a competent adult.
Yeah.
Like, let alone a musician. I think it because it
You're
teaches you
so right.
all the skills you'd need, like
Right.
or organization, turning up on time, doing the work,
Yep.
working with others, how to deal with high pressure situations. I feel like literally, if you're struggling in life, go
Do a
and do
show.
do a show, because it will teach you so many, how to make friends, how to deal with difficult situations. Like literally, the list could go on and on, but I really do
Yes.
think like it's a great primer just to be a great human being. But let alone that, if you want to go into music, then it's a good place to start, because it gives you all these extra skills that you need for music. And I
So
just
true.
think, because I'm dyslexic, so like that was the one place at school I succeeded. So when you said you did like theatre, I was like, right, I can definitely speak to this person 100%. Like I
Yeah.
say,
Yeah. And, it's about, I think when you're working on a song for theater and you're working out how you're going to perform it on the stage, it's all about intention.
mm,
Every single line is broken down into intention. What are you trying to do? Like, what are you asking a question? Are you begging someone to do something? What are you trying to get
yeah,
across? Because you have to act out those intentions, because that it's not film. That theater is huge. Like the people in the back have to see you.
yeah,
So you really learn to really focus on getting inside the story and getting inside what you're singing. So I think, again, like those skills that I learned, that's what I try to teach when I'm songwriting with artists and when I'm coaching artists. Like, you could sing the song, like you sound beautiful singing the song, but what is it that you're trying to do? What's your
yeah,
intention behind it?
yeah.
And also with branding, it's like the same thing. It's like, what is your intention? Like, what are you putting out there into the world? How do you want people to see you?
Definitely, I would 100% agree with that. So this is a bit of a difficult question here. In music, it can be either a live performance or one that you've seen on TV or wherever it may be. But what is the one performance you saw in music that had the biggest impact on you as an artist and a human being? What's the one performance you think, if I hadn't have seen that, I wouldn't be doing what I am?
Oh my goodness, that is a very hard question. Can we come back to it?
So I
That is
realize you
such
don't ask. Yeah.
Yeah, because everything is like mushing together in my brain right now. Um, let me think for a second. That is really hard, but I think I kind of have to like um generalize this a bit. I know it's not
Yeah, it's fine.
exactly the answer that you're probably looking for,
It's fine.
but
I never. The thing is, I never lead the answers, because I want.
yeah.
Again, we're going back to authenticity. I want people to actually give their genuine answers. So
Hmm.
if you need to
Yeah,
generalize, that's all good.
because I don't think I have that like, oh, I went to a concert and I saw somebody singing this song and it changed my life moment. I have very personal moments where I'm listening to things like alone by
Mm,
myself, and it changes like the essence of me. Like um one of those artists for me growing up as, especially like a teenager, was Ani DeFranco, and also like Patty Griffin. Listening to their just the way they tell their stories kind of was like, I
Yeah.
need to do something like this. But to really answer your question, I think for me it was I kind of like came of age in like the East Village, like rock and roll, like
Yeah.
indie rock and roll music scene. Like I walked into the bitter end probably way too young than I was actually supposed to be in there. Uh, and I just felt this like homecoming. Like I felt like, okay, there's something going on in these spaces. There's something going on with these bands, with this music, like that I feel extremely connected to. And I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be in my life. And I kind of
Yeah.
like went with that feeling, that gut instinct. And I learned the business kind of like just from doing it, just from like the interpersonal relationships and like learning how the managers work with the bands and like how, you got record deals and like then got dropped from record deals and what happens after that. And I kind of just like immersed myself in that world.
I mean, that sounds really interesting there. Like you sort of like, it was like a, not self-taught, but I'm trying to think of a better word. You sort of like learn from doing.
Doing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very,
Uh,
very much.
and being dyslexic, I identify with that because a lot of the things I've done in my life have been from learn from doing because of the challenges with my dyslexia. So I love that. I think what we're going to do now is go to the next round, which is on repeat. So 1 second, and I'll
Okay.
be back with that. Okay, so this is on repeat. And in on repeat, we talk about what you're currently doing now. So to start that off, currently, what are the biggest challenges in a day?
I think for me, like in business, there's always a balancing act between the artist creative side of me and the strategic, this is a business, we've got to like get results side of me. So I don't know that, I mean, I guess it is a challenge, but I also feel like it's a strength because I see it from both sides. And I can have those conversations with the artists that I work with, like, okay, listen, like I know what's going on here.
Mm.
Like I know how you're feeling, or like how are you feeling about this? We have to do this strategically for the business side, but like how can we do it to where you feel like it's right for you as an artist? So it's like a challenge, but also like something that's exciting when I work with artists, because I feel like you don't get that often in the industry. You're either working with creatives or you're working with like marketing label teams. Like you're not really
Yeah.
getting someone who's like bringing both sides of the situation to where you are.
Yeah.
So
I like that. Like I say, I can identify with that because sometimes when I've interviewed some younger people, I've noticed nervousness, and when they like have asked me specific questions, I've realised, hang on a minute, this is because they're not used to being interviewed and they've
yeah.
not done this before. So I just need to say something just to relieve them of this nerves, just so I get a better inter out of them and they get a better experience from the whole thing. So it's interesting, like the point you make there of like how experience and then sometimes age can be like a really good thing for like younger artists and people, because you can see, oh, I mean, if I was in this situation, why would I be doing that? Oh, yes, it's because I'm nervous, for example. So I like that.
Exactly.
So what does daily success currently look like for you? So when you wake up and you start your day, by the end of the day, what do you need to have done to have been successful that day?
Oh, I love that question. That's really so funny that you asked that, because one of the questions that I always start out with asking is like, what does success look like for you as an
Yeah,
artist? And
yeah, yeah.
I think that's actually a question that's missing in this industry. Everybody just assumes that like an artist wants X, right? But like sometimes they don't, and
Yeah.
like if they're never asked and they're never able to express that, everybody's kind of working for different reasons. But for me, so my idea of success is driven by meaning and purpose. And like I said before, being of service. So,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that go on in like a single day here, because I'm also a mom of twins
Yep.
and like dealing with like balancing the artistic side of me with the business, because, you have to put food on the table, and then dealing with the kids coming home at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
So, and also my husband works in the industry. So we're both here kind of like juggling our calls. Like I just like kicked him out for an hour, and then he's going to come back and jump on his
Yeah.
calls. So for me, it's like, if I could wake up and have my like rituals in the morning where I'm like, either going for a walk, drinking a cup of coffee, listening to a podcast. I have that creative kind of like energy going through me. Like I jot down some ideas. Maybe I'll like write a song or start an idea of a song. And then I kind of switch to my business side. Okay, what is it that my clients need? What do I have to do for my clients? How could I be of service to them? So we have like the meaning, and then we have the service. And
Yeah.
then at the end of the day, to be honest with you, like if I didn't like drop too many balls, or like if like nothing like crazy happened, then that is a really good day for me. Like that is a very, very good day. Like just sometimes all you can do is just like keep it together, and like just try to have like those baby steps and goals, and like that's okay.
I mean, I like that. If nothing, I do like that answer, because I'm part of a DJ group here. I mean, and a group of DJs here in Preston, Lancashire, UK, and like we're part of this DJ social that promotes mental health, but it's a really good resource for like checking in on each other, and I check in a lot of DJs, because we're in dark rooms at night, like 90% of the time. You understand how you could potentially have mental health problems. Now, you don't have to have a mental health problem to go to this group, but it's a really great thing, because we actually like check in on people and call each other up and make sure, oh, you've been a bit quiet, mate, how are you doing? And I think, like you say, it is a bit of a, sometimes it can be quite isolating, like doing music, because you're on your own all the time. So I really appreciate your answer there. So I think what we're going to do is go to the next round, which is discography, where we talk about your music. So 1 second, and we'll be back with that. Okay, so this is discography, where we talk about our artist music today. So to start this off, so you want to just tell us, so you've got a new album out already?
So it's out already. Yes, it was released June 27th. It's called In Art and Soil the Same. And I had a few singles that released prior to the album. The lead single was Blessing. And then I released also a single with a fantastic group called the Carlisle Family Band, who, if you don't know, you should definitely listen to them. They're just honestly like the most talented, kind, incredible people that I've met in a long time. So that was really fun to work with them. But yeah, it's out. That's the short answer. It's out.
So how would you describe your style of music?
So the genre, I would say, is like folk Americana. When I write for myself as an artist, that's where I tend to go. And this record is very the sound, I would say, is sonically it's a folk record, but it's very rooted in the earth. It's very warm. It's very kind of like, the story is about the connection to the earth, especially the connection that we have to our memories and our bodies, and it's very embodied. That's kind of like the word I would use to describe it.
So what do you want ultimately when people listen to this album? What do you want them to get from it?
I think that the most important thing for me is, I'm not here to tell somebody what they should be thinking when they're listening to the music, but for me, for everything that I write, I think it's about asking questions, like kind of like, nothing is really certain. Like we have no certainty. And I think part of an artist's kind of responsibility is to try to lead people to form either their own answers about things, or lead them to like maybe ask better questions or bigger questions. So I think for me, if you're listening to the album and you feel like it's opening up a part of you in some way, shape, or form, opening your heart a little wider, opening your mind a little wider, leading you to ask questions about yourself and the world around you, I think that, it's done its job.
I love that. I love that. So, how long did this take to make? Because I'm always interested when I speak to different people. Like some people, like I know electronic producer, and he's from Blackpool, and he always seems to have like the next track out. Like there's something new every week. I'm like, how do you get this? It's like a conveyor belt, but it's always like in his genre of music. It's always so good. So like,
Yeah.
so like, how long did it take you to make this album then?
So the for me, the writing process is like separate from the actual going in to the studio and recording it. So, the writing of this was like over the course of like a year and a half, maybe. Like it was like a long process, and it was just done when it was done, and like I knew that, okay, the story is done. Now we can like focus on how we're going to record it. The recording process for me is always super fast because all that work that you do in writing those songs, the songs are there. And I feel my philosophy in recording music is that you just serve the song. You just listen to what the song is telling you. You put the right people in a room, and we cut the whole record live. So we did it. We recorded with the band for 2 days. We did 5 songs one day, 5 songs the next. Most of the vocals are also the live scratch vocals. I did go back and have to re-sing just a few of them. And then we added some strings and some background vocals. So that whole process was finished in like a few days. So for me, it's just about having the right material and having the right people. And then you kind of just let something in the space take over.
I mean, I like that. 2 things I pick up on there. One, I like the fact that you say the right people in the room, because I have previously said on another episode, like when I choose people for music, whatever we're doing, as long as they're like good people, in like my eyes, doesn't matter if we don't make music, we'll still have a good time. And obviously, you need to make this track and you need to make money and stuff like that. But my philosophy is like, as long as you've got the like decent people that are going to show up and like do their best and just be decent people, the music part will be the easy part. Like I personally feel. So I love that you say that.
I mean, I completely like that's so important to me though, because also music is energy. It's just frequency. So if you are really not vibing with somebody in the space, and like your energy is off, like how are you going to create your best music?
You're
just like throwing off the whole atmosphere.
And I feel like, okay, I feel also like you'd be doing a disservice to them, and then like the thing becomes bigger, and like it's just a waste of time in the end then, and no one really gains anything from it, so they might as well just. No, I really love that, because I feel like the people like you involve are the most important element, as well obviously the music and that, and writing the right, taking the time to make the music. But I just generally do think like it comes down to the people you choose ultimately. So I love that. So this is a quick question, do you feel like performing the music and making the music are 2 separate things, or would you say they're more of a continuation of the same process?
Are you like as in recording the music, or then performing it afterwards?
Performing it afterwards.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that it is all like, it's almost like I'm like envisioning like a river now, like it's all from the same like flow. And I personally do more writing, like writing for myself, writing with other artists and collaborating and recording than I do performing. And that's not, it's just like, I think just the place that I am in my life, and, like just juggling so many things. I just don't get to do the performing afterwards too much. But for me, it would just be an extension of that, whether it's done with just like a vocals and an acoustic guitar or a full live band, you're still going to be, the essence of what you did is still there. And like, if I could use the same people that I used in the studio, I absolutely would, because that is, like you said, it's like, it's really about the people, because somebody could play the same exact notes, but it'll sound completely different.
Yeah, I love that. I really do. I think what we're going to do now is move to the last round, which is Dream Big. So 1 second, and we'll be back with that. Okay, so this is Dream Big, and in Dream Big, we talk about the future and future aspirations. So to start that off, who is your dream? Now, this is a hard question, just to warn you. I really don't ask easy questions.
Oh, Lord.
Who's your dream artist to collaborate with, and why?
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, for me, it always changes, and I think sometimes it is dependent upon what you've been listening to that week and what you've sort of like been exposed to on TV, radio, wherever it may be. So, but that, for me, there's always the ultimate, and people that listen to this regularly know it's Pete Tong for me. The British DJ, Pete Tong, is my like goat, because I listened to him on radio when I was a kid. I wouldn't go to sleep. My mum couldn't get me to sleep if I didn't listen to the radio, cassette radio we're talking now, when I was a kid. So yeah, that's me. But like I say with you, like, is there anyone that sticks out like in your head? You go, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the first person that popped in my head was Sarah Bareilles. I just find I'm like in awe of her career and what she's been able to develop, and how she's been able to kind of pave her own way and stick to her guns, and like, just be, like we were talking about before, a vessel for this beautiful art. And I've always felt, sounds like crazy because I've never met her in person, but I've always felt that we're somewhat aligned in philosophy and how we create. And so, she would be, and of course, like, she's just incredibly talented and, just, legacy artist now in the business. So yeah, I would absolutely love to collaborate with her.
I love that. So next question is, dream festival, concert, or venue to perform at?
My living room? No, just kidding.
I love that.
You know what? I'll throw a little curveball in there. I'd love to create my own like festival or
that's the
something.
First answer like that.
Yeah, I would love to create something that, and I have thought of this before, but I'm not quite prepared to talk about it, so I won't start. But
no, yeah, I would love to talk about it, because I
will not talk about it.
I don't want anyone to steal it.
Make you sign an NDA. Yeah, but I would love to create something with like-minded artists and like-minded professionals, coming together and sharing in conversation and in song.
You've said your own. So, like, how long have you been thinking about this then?
Maybe a few years. I've had some ideas kind of like spinning around. I don't know if it'll be like a huge festival, but I think a series would be great, just to start something from the ground up.
Yeah.
But to go back to later with Jules Holland, it's funny. I have not performed on there, but I had an artist perform one of my songs on there. So
wow, that's impressive.
So, a group called Gideon, Luke, and the People. It was about 10 years ago now. And they actually have a song coming out tomorrow. So
all right. Shout out to them. I'm going to have to Google search this on YouTube. Whenever someone comes here and mentions groups and stuff, I always go, when I'm editing it, so Richard's probably listening to this now. Me in the future is listening to this now, editing it, and I'll be writing these down because I'm dyslexic, so I need it written down for me. So when you say it, it has the transcripts of all the things. So I'll be writing this down right this second as I'm editing it, and I'll be looking them up. No, this is what I love about it, because everyone has a different perspective of music and everyone listens to different things. So through this, like, I've learned about so many groups I knew nothing about, but now I'm like, listen to them all the time. So I love that. So I definitely will give them a look out. So What is your biggest ambition for your music?
Ooh, biggest ambition. I think for me, the I consider myself first a songwriter, like
Yeah,
more than anything else, like someone who is I always say like I'm a forever student of the human condition, and anything where I can um either like dig into that a little bit more, and for me songwriting does that. It's extremely therapeutic. I love writing for other people because it's like acting, right? Like you get to
yeah,
like
yeah.
put on someone else's shoes. Like you get to walk in their
Mm.
shoes. You get to like actually step into somebody else's life. I find songwriting for others like very, very similar to being an actor. So for me, my greatest ambition with my music is to just be able to write more. To be able
Yeah.
to collaborate more with other people, to be able to sing more with other people. It's about really like bringing more people in, more collaborations, more work. You know,
I love
hopefully
that.
growing more.
I do feel like you can't collaborate enough.
Agreed.
Like you can't
That's what it's
collaborate enough.
about, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, that's
You
what it's
never
about.
know.
Even just, yeah, like even, sorry to interrupt you, but even
It's
just
all good.
this conversation now is like, you know, it's, well, first of all, if you weren't doing your podcast, we wouldn't have met.
Yeah,
So it's all about like creating those connections and that energy, and like one thing always leads to the next. So it's really about people.
yeah.
This whole thing is about people.
Definitely, definitely. So this is a bit of a left of field question. So the example I give for me, I was my dream, and maybe I make this happen in the future. I don't know, but I'm a big James Bond fan, so I would love to make my own sort of like heavy electronic sort of full dance like theme title song for a James Bond film. Like that's one of my biggest ambitions. I'm eventually going to try and start making music soon. I've got some ideas, so that's something I want to do in the future. Whether it happens or not, I'm just going to try and make it happen. So, what is like something a little different in what you do that you think, one day it'd be pretty cool to if I could do that, that'd be great. So, is there anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to write or help to write a musical. It's been a dream of mine for a very long time. I feel like the theater is kind of calling me back. I've been
Yeah.
like really missing it, missing the people, and missing the world, and missing like singing like that. And so that would be a huge, huge dream of mine, is to like be involved in writing something for the theater.
So, in terms of musical, would it be like something with an original text, or would it be a original musical?
As far as like song wise, you mean
You know,
like
like like Hamilton, for example. It's based on
yes.
the founding fathers, so there's something
Yes, yes,
to
yes.
draw off. Or like he's recently
Right.
done the Warriors, the musical. It was based on a film, like you see. So is it one of
Yes.
those, or is it something original?
For me, it doesn't really matter. Like, I would love to write the lyrics for it, or be involved in writing the music. So for me, it's I don't really I don't think that really would just something that is moving to me either way.
Yeah, I suppose as long as the subject matter is compelling,
Yes.
then that's all that matters. Yeah, I love that. That's the first. This is great, this episode, because we've had two firsts. The first one where I've asked the question, "What would your dream location?" Your own event. That's the first time, as I can recall, someone said that. And then, what's the other like sort of off-field thing? A musical. That's the first time we've had that answer. So I love that. There's some firsts in this episode. Great. Okay, yeah. So I really enjoyed interviewing you, and yeah, it's some great work you're doing there, and I love like sort of like your perspective of like working in music. I feel like it's a great perspective you've got with like sort of a collaborative sort of people focused dynamic, which I think is what music needs more of, because it ultimately does come down to the people, and I feel like the more people that work together and collaborate, the better work that's going to be done. So I just want to thank you for your time so much. Now, as I wrap up here, I just want to make sure that people know where to find your content. So what platforms are you on, and what is the spellings and everything? I always make sure that we get there.
So I use Instagram is my main platform. So at Brielle Brown, BrielleBrown. So you could find me there. And then my website is Brielle Brown Creative. So it's a combination of both my consulting and coaching work, and you could also find my music on there. I'm also on Facebook, LinkedIn, X, although I don't really use it much. But yeah, reach out, find me anywhere.
I've really enjoyed speaking with you, and anything you're up to, give us an update. And I always like to update people on what people that have been on the podcast have been up to, because I feel like I'm trying to create a space where more things can go. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like that's the thing. If you can just create somewhere where your content can go, that people are going to see it, then that's great to help people get along. But no, I really appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming on. It's been really interesting interviewing you, and I wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you so much. This was really wonderful. I'm so grateful.
Thank you very much.
In the mix with DJ Rambo Rich.